What's happening with MicroStrategy shares? As we can see, there's a huge drop of nearly 20%. This is a crucial moment. Let's observe the volatility. By the way, volatility will precisely answer where the stock will go next. Let's dissect the volatility smile, historical volatility. Also, we must look at the strikes, how to profit from this company. Let's check the option chain. I'll also touch on 3D volatility and everything that's happening with it. Let's start from the beginning. MicroStrategy company holds Bitcoins in its account. It's linked to cryptocurrency. As we can see that Bitcoin has experienced significant growth recently, and MicroStrategy has also grown significantly. But as we see, MicroStrategy has grown much faster than Bitcoin, and it will fall faster than Bitcoin too. That's obvious, of course. We've only dropped 2% today. Yes, everything has dipped a bit over the weekend, but MicroStrategy is dropping almost 20%. We'll come back to that a little later. Let's look at the volatility. In fact, volatility isn't dropping at all. It's only starting to rise because the movement in this stock is very significant. Starting from February, volatility began to increase. It was at around 60%. Then at 70%, and then there was a sharp decline in volatility. Again, for those dealing with options, they should understand that they could profit not only from the movement of this stock, but also from the rise in volatility. Let's look at the volatility smile. And as we can see, it is heavily skewed towards puts. And towards the downside, as we can see, there is such a slope where volatility increases to almost unprecedented levels, nearly 400%. And towards the upside, volatility hardly increases. This indicates that traders are primarily betting on the decline of stocks. But again, they hedge this tirelessly. That's the whole thing, and that's why volatility on the put options is much higher. Let's also look at historical and implied volatility. That is, volatility at the moment, as we see, is naturally much higher than historical volatility. Let's also look at the open interest in options. At the strike, as we can see, the volume here is not very large. The largest volume is concentrated at $2,500, and there are small volumes at $1,000, at $2,000. Put options, the largest volume is concentrated at around $700, also at $100 and $10, no matter how strange it may sound. Again, I've already made an analogy with Bitcoin, that purely in theory, if Bitcoin reaches $100,000, MicroStrategy could rise to $2,500 or $3,000 because MicroStrategy hold Bitcoins on their account. And consequently, there will be an asset revaluation. I've already talked about this in previous videos, but again, I assume that Bitcoin will reach $100,000 in the near future. The question is, has this final correction begun? Here we saw the peak in Bitcoin, well again, local, right? $75,000. And then we will start falling again, or are we just correcting? Again, if Bitcoin continues to fall, then naturally, MicroStrategy will fall very sharply. As we can see, such a situation already occurred in 2021. There was also a huge growth. Then there was a gamma squeeze. And after that, we fell almost 60% within a month. Let's look at the volatility chain, and I'll tell you again how gamma compression works. Look, whoever buys options, on the other side, there must be a counterparty, and options are mostly sold by market makers. There are, of course, those who also sell options, but mostly market makers are involved in selling options. And naturally, their task is to hedge the price movement. That is, they sold you an option, and to not lose on this sold option, they use a strategy delta neutral hedging. But mostly such strategies are used. Actually, there are many different strategies, but I'm talking about the simplest one. Delta neutral hedging is typically a dynamic strategy, meaning that every change in price is accompanied by buying or selling of the stock. So if suddenly a stock starts to sharply rise and the market maker has sold a lot of options, they must buy the stock. And if the stock's liquidity is low, the market maker simply drives the stock higher and higher, increasing trading volume. As we can see, this month's trading volumes were very high on this stock. Therefore, of course, gamma hedging was also present. It's as if Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies helped with all of this. Everything here works together. There's nothing singular. Everything moves together. Bitcoin helps. Then options come into play. Then retail investors, and that's how the movement of the stock happened. But again, this all works only as long as gamma is positive. Once gamma is negative, the market maker will have to get rid of all the previously purchased stock, and the opposite situation will unfold. That is, they will have to sell stock. As they sell options, the stock falls. Therefore, hedging needs to be reduced, and they start selling more shares. And so another spiral begins to unfold, until again, we reach a point where gamma levels out. Let's immediately look at 3D volatility. Again, few will show you that. I try to provide comprehensive and deep information on this subject. Together, we'll build a smart and interesting strategy. Professionals will immediately understand what's happening. I've devised a small strategy on this stock. Again, under no circumstances should you replicate my trades. They are purely fictional. Furthermore, I'm not opening this trade anywhere, neither in my actual portfolio nor in virtual ones. I simply don't need to. However, I'm still showing how one could realistically play this stock. As you can see, I've devised a strategy where we can earn almost $100,000 if the stock rises to $2,300. Also, if the stock starts to fall, yes, we can earn $40,000 if it drops to $1,000. But again, if the stock starts to fall sharply, we could incur losses. In other words, our losses begin if the stock hits $600. But in any case, look at the profile. This is how we should be earning. If we go down, we make money. If we go up, we also make money. Returning to the stock, I'm stating my philosophy. I remind you, I don't know where the price movement will go. It's quite possible we'll start to fall. But again, I don't know that. The question is how to make money. I've already shown you a strategy. The most important thing is not to know or predict where the stock will go, but to manage positions wisely. You can build a position where you'll profit regardless of whether the stock goes up or down. That's what real trading is about. It's not just betting on whether it will go up or down. It's about strategically positioning your portfolio. If you want to learn more or have questions, feel free to email me. I'll definitely help you with that. Again, it all depends on the movement of cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. I can't predict stock movements, let alone cryptocurrencies. Therefore, it's crucial to manage positions intelligently. That's all there is to it. The potential for profit is significant. You can do very well with different option strategies. The key is to study the market. But again, I must emphasize, never replicate trades with me because the position I showed you needs management. Without proper management, you will definitely lose money. At the right moment, you'll need to sell options, buy options, exercise some, and possibly add stocks at some point. But how much to add? You don't know that. You need to add according to delta. That is, for each option, you need to add a certain number of stocks. That's it. I'll say this, it's quite complex. But again, it's interesting if you delve into it. If you understand it, then all horizons are open to you. I promise you that. I also advise you to watch this video. There, I talked about the top 5 most promising stocks with significant growth potential.